Alright, here we are. Dude, you did a lot of freaking script writing.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to make sure that, you know, you powered through some of that stuff so quickly that I was like, I wanted to make sure that I was able to give you some material to work with.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's good. That's a lot.
But I think this will take us all the way to where the bridge transition starts.
Whoa, what's that? Hold on a sec. Not sure what I'm hearing there. Hold on. Jeez. Yeah. Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah.
I think by default I'm going to turn the so I'm listening, Chris, but I'm just talk real quick. I think by default I'm going to turn down the volume of Skycurser, so it'll be about 50%. I think that's what part of the problem is. Whenever we go in game, volume is like blasted. So Skype is perfectly fine, at least from what I can hear. So.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, but I was just saying, I think the scripting that I have written will take us up to, I believe right after that happens is when we should transition into the bridge area. And then the bridge area will be maybe a minute or so of action, and then you'll go out to the dock area. There'll be maybe a minute or so of action out there, and then the boss will show up.
Okay, cool. So you're saying all the scripting here takes me right up to the bridge, and when I'm done with that, basically transition into the bridge.
Yeah.
And then you'll have some more scripting written later for about a minute, and then we'll transition to the dock where the boss is.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And on the bridge, I think I'd like to try that idea where, and all the graphics are already ready. They're uploaded, but to where you actually have to dodge the cross beams of the bridge support.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
Yeah, because I think that, you know, one of the things I was thinking about is I was watching you play, and you're so comfortable with the game now that a lot of times you just know that you can just stay perfectly still and
right.
Katana, and I just want to make sure that's
yeah, exactly.
There's always stuff that keeps you moving.
Yeah.
One of the ideas that I had that I think could be really cool, and I don't want to distract you too much.
No, you're good, man. I'm listening.
So one of the ideas I had that I thought would be really neat is to have it to where there's infected, those Hummers, those like military vehicles, and they have machine guns on them. And imagine like their obstacles, like, okay, so there's an infected guy riding on the Hummer, and he's just firing the machine gun straight up into the air and like taking pauses, so like he'll fire for a second, release for a second, fire for a second, and he's traveling down the road. So you either have to go down there quickly and destroy him, or wait in between firing and fly through. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like a force field, like that you kind of just have to dodge it. Just an idea, and we can test it out and see if it works. But I know we had talked about, like, you know, do we really want the enemies to be able to have weapons that fire like
right
bullets? But it was just an idea of a way to like get something a little different in there that we haven't done anything like that before. So we'll see.
No, I like it. Yeah, I think. So you're saying that would be before the bridge?
No, I actually think that would probably happen. So right now there's in the script there's a couple sequences where ambulance riders show up, and basically ambulance riders are ground. They ride on the ground. They're a rider, like a carrier rider, but they have the ability to fire up at you. And what I was thinking is maybe we might replace some of those with this machine gun enemy if we decide that it's a good idea. So, you know, like right now I think there's like a total of 6 ambulance riders in the script that I gave you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so it's just an idea, but it's definitely not critical.
No, that's good. I would say if they're not already in there, maybe just like put a note where there's a possibility to switch it out and what exactly that behavior should be.
Yeah.
One of the other things I was thinking about, and that I probably would have made some progress on had I had a few more notes, is what's it called? What we're building for the arcade, the operator menu.
Yeah.
Do we have those notes somewhere? I thought we took some notes.
I thought, yeah, and I bet it was probably one of those times where we like took the notes and then didn't save them.
I think Phil probably wrote a lot of those down. I think he's got it somewhere.
Yeah. To-do list for February demo. Have you referenced this? Operator screen. Hold on.
Are you talking about in Drive?
This is old.
Okay.
Ignore that. I'll text Phil. I think he might still be. Traveling, but. Let's see.
I'm currently, for anybody who's watching, I'm just trying to figure out exactly. I've added controls to be able to set the volume, and I'm trying to remember exactly where I added that at, so that I can just set the volume by default. I think it's probably right here. Script volume check. Here we go. I think what we'll do here is set it to 0.5 by default, and we'll do that in the boot room. Let's try that. That way we can turn it up or down. I think generally what you would probably want to do is set it to 100%, but just so that Chris and I can be on Skype without any issues at the same time, let's go ahead and try to boot this up and see how loud this is. DeBeasley Bros asking a question, Chris. Probably be a good one for you.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely for me personally, Brad, and we haven't talked about this at length, but I know for me, part of the reason why I'm putting so much of my free time into the game is because I'd like to be able to have it, to be able to, do this more for a living. I mean, it's like my ultimate dream to be able to make a game, and just now getting to the point where I feel like we have the ability to do it, and we're kind of trying to prove ourselves with this first game and do something really special so that maybe we can get an opportunity to do it for a living.
Right. For me, it's definitely I enjoy what I'm doing now. So put me on the spot here, but no, I mean I would love to do this and have this be at least a strong secondary source of income and possibly a primary source of income, but that would be nice. But yeah, I mean right now we're doing this for free, and I say for free, but it's something that we really enjoy. So I guess it's not like it's a bad thing. It's definitely something we all enjoy and are excited to do. So even if this, honestly, I guess the correct answer for me is even if this never made a cent, I'm enjoying like what I've been learning about this up to this point, and man, it would be awesome if it made some money. So just trying to go along for the ride, honestly.
Yeah, I feel the same way too. I mean, I wouldn't be disappointed if somehow we could turn this into more of a job type thing. But it's definitely just because it's so much fun. But it's definitely something I would like to do.
Yeah, absolutely. That's quite a bit better. The volume is not like way overpowering. I don't know if I'm actually affecting it overall. I'm going to take it down all the way to 0.1 and see what this sounds like. Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. Thanks for your support, as always.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, dude.
Yeah, that's good right there. I'll leave it at that. All right. So volume's good. So Chris, let me share a link with you. I think you're on this, so let me make sure real quick.
The Trello board.
Yeah, are you on that board?
Pretty sure.
Also want to make sure it's private in case it's not. So give me a second while I look at that.
Change your sleep, change your life, change to Tempur-Pedic.
There we go. Only people added to the board can view it. Probably should have been like that a while ago, but it's fine now.
Is it Skycurser development?
Yeah, the Griffin Aerotech one. Yep.
Got it.
So, yeah, I've added a lot to this. Now I can show it on screen, even though I have in the past, but I think it's been fine up to this point. So I've got a lot of items in here, and of course the scripting will go right into here. But I'm thinking, help me if you could prioritize, and I'll do this, let's see, right under here, because we've got basically a lot on the plate right now, and just add a checklist in here. So let me just write what I think we have on the plate immediately. So level 2 background updates, not bridge, not dock. Level 2 background dock, or let's say bridge first. Level 2 background dock. Okay, also have HUD update. We also have level 2 scripting. I've got a few key bugs I want to work out related to the katana and projectiles. And what else is there? I know you mentioned one specifically with the katana and the dire peb, and I've got a bug with the dire peb out of order. So those are kind of like top of mind. What else do you have in your mind?
Boy, that's a good question.
I think operator menu. We need to get that from Phil. So for me, honestly, I think the two that could probably be the best up, knocking them out all the way is the operator menu and the HUD update. Like I almost think even like spending the time to do the HUD update would be well worth it.
Yeah, here's the problem, and I don't want to make it any more complicated than it needs to be. But so the HUD update is going to be a little bit challenging for a number of reasons. One is the new HUD is all about the 3 meters and the 3.
Yep.
The 3 supers. So we talked about this a little bit, and I think the middle ground, the thing we could do to get there today is we could have it to where you have to fill all 3 meters to be able to do one Griffin special.
Right, and I like that idea. I think that's a good one.
So in that case, that part of it isn't too complicated, because what I've done is this just worked out just by chance. It was actually kind of cool. But basically, you'll notice that in the sprite folder for the HUD, there's the meter bar.
Yep, I see it. Yep.
There's an animation for each pixel of the meter filling up.
Yeah, I see
It
it.
so happens to be 25, and I was thinking 25 would be the perfect number of enemies you have to kill to fill each meter. So
Okay.
So you have to kill 25 guys with the katana, 25 guys with the shotgun, 20 guys with the Vulcan, and then you can do one Griffin special.
Okay.
So
Got it. Like it.
Yeah, so that part of it isn't too terribly complicated. I think the harder part, and this is just something we just have to talk about, and this is probably good on Skype, is when Guy's monitor comes in. Because in the new HUD layout, Guy's monitor is more contextual. Like, it's not just constantly there.
Right, right.
So it's more complicated because you would want, like, you know, for example, Guy's death animation to happen when he dies. And it slides in and it shows the death animation, then it slides out when he, you know, when the new the new ship spawns. Or like, let's say maybe when you get a super meter charged up, maybe every few times you do that, he'll come in and give you the thumbs up, or he'll come in and cock the gun. Or like, let's say every time you kill 100 enemies, he'll come in and give you a thumbs up. Or like when you do a super, maybe he does the thing where he's shaking, like where he's shooting the gun.
Right.
That when he shoots the gun, maybe we just do it when he does a super. The problem is that we probably need to have a conversation on like all the different scenarios when he should show up.
Just got a follow from Kavariax. Awesome, man. Thanks so much for the support and the follow. It's great.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. So there's that. But if we wanted to make movement on it right away, I'd still need to do the new frame for Guy's monitor, because there needs to be a smaller frame.
Okay.
But you could literally make it to where he pops in at the beginning of the mission and does like the gun cock and thumbs up.
Yep.
And then when he dies, you would have him slide in and show him dying, you know, show the explosion. And then the super. Those would be 3, and then the rest of the time he's just not there.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That honestly, I don't think would be too difficult. I mean, we just slide it in quick, and even I think we only even at that point slide it in if it's not going to interfere with the screen either. You know, like similar setup, just keep it from interfering with Guy if he's down in that lower, like,
yeah, exactly.
4th or 5th.
What I like about it is I was thinking the cool thing about, like, when he comes in when you die, obviously he's not going to get in the way because you're dead. When he comes in when you're doing the super, you're invulnerable. So he's not going to get in the way because you're invulnerable for a second when you do the super, right?
Right.
And then when he comes in at the beginning of the stage, you're just getting your legs underneath you, so you should never really have to duck the monitor out. Now, I know what you mean, like, maybe if Guy is, like, for more gameplay stuff, like where, like, let's say he gives you a thumbs up if you kill 100 guys, every 100 guys you kill, I'm just speculating here. Maybe he wouldn't even pop out if you were in the bottom corner. Like, he would never even show up, because that would interfere with your gameplay, right?
Right.
But if you're anywhere else on the screen, he would pop in real quick and do his thing and then go away. But that's just an idea. Maybe one way we can handle that. Because
Okay.
I think we'll be able to get rid of a lot of the ducking the monitor out. Because
Yeah, you're right.
It's only happening when, like, it's contextual, you know.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, well that's good. So one more time, what's the extra work that you have to do on that? You just got to make his monitor smaller.
Actually, you could get started by, you could just literally get rid of Guy's monitor for a couple days. I mean, I can do it tomorrow, and just start working on the super bar piece of it and the little Guy icons instead of numbers.
Okay. Yeah.
And then
So what do you want for the supers? Here's a question. I guess I just now thought of this on the fly. What do you want to happen if there are no supers, but you basically have the POW up there and it's just blank?
There would be no more POW anymore.
Just blank?
The POW goes away forever.
Oh, okay. So when a POW exists, then it comes up. Okay, got it.
No, actually, I would say it's just that was totally a placeholder.
Oh, what does it say instead? I must not have seen that yet.
Yeah, no, it just says Guys now.
Oh, it's just literally the guys. Okay, got it.
3 heads. It would say Guys and then three guy heads or whatever, you know, for the 3 lives.
Oh, so wait. Okay, hold on a sec. So the super only lights up on the indicators. Then the indicators are all lit up, and then so you can't store supers, is what you're also saying with that.
For today, for this build of the game, I would say let's see what it feels like, because I think 25 kills with each gun is really accessible.
Yeah. It's. I mean, you can do it pretty quick. Yeah.
Yeah, in seconds. So I would almost want the thing I would be worried about is someone being able to bank 20 supers and destroy like a boss in 10 seconds. You know?
Yeah.
So I think it might actually be kind of cool to be like, you need to be thinking about when you want to use your super, because it's kind of like you're not going to get more of them. You know.
Okay.
Eventually, you'll have the ability to do a katana super, which will only take away the katana meter, or you can do a Vulcan super, which will only take away the Vulcan meter, right? But we just need to like even think of what all those supers are going to be.
Okay.
But I also have Mitchell doing voiceover work that says super ready, and then I was thinking we could have.
Oh, that'd be tight. Yeah. So like when the super is all the way powered up, they get an audio cue. Yeah, that's tight. If he got level, I was thinking about like the intro sounds for each of the levels. You know, when we get finished with level 2, basically we're going to move right on to level 3. I'd hate to be in a spot where we're just waiting for level 3, level 4, 5, 6, however many levels we're going to do. The intro sounds like, you know, Freeway Frenzy level, you know.
Well, and that's why I'm kind of trying to plan ahead. So, like, one of the things I was thinking is keep the alliteration where it's always...
I like that.
Yeah. So it's Death at Dusk, Freeway Frenzy, Storms at Sea, or something like that. You know, that would be Mission 3, the Stormy Ocean, or Storms at Sea, or something.
Yeah.
And try to think about, okay, what would all those be? And then as soon as I have those titles, I would just have Mitchell just do all the voice acting, just to have it done. You know.
Okay. Yeah.
But he's doing Mission 2 right now.
Did you also say you have backgrounds for level 1 updated? What was it that's updated?
Yeah, and I yeah, if you wanted to add that to a priority for me, just because it's I put so much work into it, and I feel like it wouldn't be very complicated because it's one. I would say Mission 1 background updates.
Is it like the whole set of everything, or what is it that needs to be updated?
So mainly the issue that I have with Mission 1 is the very initial section over the sunset.
Yeah, it's just too orange.
It's too orange, and you can't see the blood against it, and it's just like it doesn't look natural. Whereas the new one looks very much like it looks like a real.
So it's just the first section. So you know, if level 1 is broken up into 3 sections based on the major background changes, it's just the first section.
For now, yes.
Okay.
And I have plans to do updates to the mainly the city section, so that it's less neat and more like unique.
Okay.
But that's I think definitely it's way less priority. The city section doesn't bug me nearly as much as that.
Okay.
It's like the very first thing people see, I want them to be like, "Wow, that looks insane."
Okay. Good. Oops, I'm adding this to the comments. All right, so I'm going to prioritize here. Add this. All right, so I'll pull this up, and HUD display will be up there. I'm only trying to get started for HUD display and operator menu based on our deadlines for next month.
Yeah.
But I think I'm still good in a holding pattern on those. I don't necessarily need to move on them immediately. I know that by this Sunday, actually, it's like drop dead, everything move over to that. But yeah, so I guess for you, like if you've got some HUD updates to make, I guess between now and Sunday would be the day to do them.
I'll have them done for you, man.
Okay.
Don't worry about that. Like,
okay.
All I need to do is a frame around Guy's monitor that just doesn't have the ARM stuff on it.
Okay.
So that'll be like literally that's like maybe 30 minutes of work.
Okay. And then the other question is operator menu. Like, what do you want? Like, do you want that to be like a simple background or
Yeah,
you know, like
those operator menu use on arcade games is since users are never intended to see them in terms of the game players.
Yeah.
They're literally the most bare bones, ugly thing. Like,
Okay. Okay.
I would use the gray shaded font.
Okay.
Plain font.
Okay.
On a black background.
Got it.
That's exactly what I would do, and that would be very, very authentic to a traditional game.
I've gotten multiple emails from PayPal saying that my account.
But I was gonna say, yeah, I know we took those notes on what the operator menu needs to have, but I'll follow up with Phil and see if he has those.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that sounds good.
Give me just a sec. I'm gonna step away for a sec.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so now that he's stepping away for a minute, I'm going to work on this sound for a second. Okay. Now, let me look at what we have for updates.
Hey Brad.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, man, I'm really sorry. I got to go run and grab some stuff real quick, but I will definitely be right back on.
Okay, yeah. Hit me up when you're finished, so that I can make sure I've got exactly what I need. I'm right now having a hard time finding the updates for Stage 1 backgrounds, but that's not a big deal at all.
Brad, they're not in there.
Oh, where are they?
I just haven't uploaded them to Drive.
Oh, okay. Cool. All right, I've got other things to work on, so hit me up when you're back.
Yeah, I would say if you want to do any quick background updates, I would do the Mission 2 ones.
Okay, yeah, I'll just swap those. Those should literally be a swap out, so I'll try to swap. Hey, did any of them change size? Did you make any of them longer?
No, I intentionally made sure that everything was exactly the same.
Okay, cool. All right, well, just let's hop off Skype and then hit me back when if you're ready to hop back on.
I could just literally mute my microphone, and you can stay on Skype, and then I'll just unmute when I come back.
Okay, cool. I'll just start playing some music then while you're out.
Awesome.
Cool. Later. All right. So where does that leave us for now? First things first, let's go ahead and make some background updates to the Freeway Frenzy. And let me just look and see what I've got here. Looks good. Not sure if that's going to be behind. I think that's going to be behind everything, or behind the bridge, but in front of buildings. So, a transition. I'll have to figure out exactly how that all plays in, because I'm not sure. I can't imagine it just being trees back there. I'm sure something's going to drop off, but I don't need that right now. The main things I need are what is here. So let's just see what we got, and let's download this and take this over to the game.
Hey, you guys here for self-defense 101? Yes.
Alright, so these should be pretty easy updates to make, so let's go ahead and do this. Backgrounds, level 2. Load sprite, change this out to, let's see. Move background. Alright. Gonna have to open it this way and edit it. And then erase a specific color. Erase that one. Perfect. Okay. Let's do the same update here. Edit. Oops, not edit, but load. From here, can we remove background? Looks like it's going to be good. Hit OK. I'm not exactly sure all the changes here, or else I would talk through what changes these are. I think they're just some modifications, some slight modifications to make everything look a little bit better, have everything loop a little bit better. Load the sprite, should be yeah. Okay there. Oops. Now this will be a big change. Okay. Let's hit play on that and see what that looks like. It's going to look way different. Probably take GameMaker a minute just to load the new textures. Ooh, that looks awesome. Wow. That looks really good, Chris. Okay, so that's it for now. It's looking really good. Alright, so let's say that's in a really good state. I think that loops correctly. Okay. Additionally, what other things? I think we can say thumbs up on that piece, actually, for Trello. On that one. So this is one I've been wanting to update for a while, the score indicator. So let's work on this one. The score indicator is just the pop-up that occurs on an enemy after Skycurser has destroyed it. So let's see if we can modify this in a better way. because right now the score indicator is being called from a specific location, and I think I can get this to look quite a bit better, and also take a variable before showing what's actually the score the player gets for the score. So it looks like we're doing this here, and then I think what we'll do is script score indicator. This is what we got to figure out what is being called. We'll pass an argument in here. So it's being called from base enemy and tank 1 die. Tank 1 die probably doesn't even need to call it. I'm not sure. Okay, I think what we can do is pass in a score helper right here. We're passing self in, so that's probably just fine to use it that way. And self would include all the variables necessary. So let's go get that. It's got to be under helpers, score indicator. Which score to generate. So this is actually unnecessary. I think what we'll do here is say SI set equals true, but we'll do that as soon as we set the actual score. Score value equals arg0 dot score value. So in object base enemy, we'll set the score value. So let's open that up. Let's do it the way we've got it here, going through script, object base enemy, init. So we can just say right here, score value equals 1, score set equals false, and I'll change that correctly in the inside of the script score indicator. So it should be score set instead of set. So I think we're good there. Now once we get here, we can say if score set is equal to true. So only activate this once we have set the score. Then there we go. And let me see what we got here. Same thing here, if score set. So don't even try drawing this until we have set the score. And instead of just being whatever it currently was, let's see. Score text is right there. I'll make sure that is set correctly in the create. Score text equals string plus 1. I think we should change this to so maybe we should change our key on the script and the object to say, well, I think it'd probably just be on the script to say score text instead of score value. Score text, and change it to a string if it's not already, which it shouldn't be. So we have it there, and then that way we don't have to overwrite. And I guess I'll put a plus in front of what it is there, so we'll do that here. Let's try this again. So we'll go string plus, and then do a plus here to concatenate, and then a string here. I think I can actually probably go like this and only have one string. So we're just putting a plus in front of it and then attaching a string to it. So let's try that. And the one thing I wanted to do was let's just prove that we got this working initially, and give it something besides a default of 1, and just say something crazy like 25 or something on the base enemy. Score text, right? And I think I've got one more place to update it that I missed. Score text. Got it. Save, play. Let's try that, see what it says. Oh yeah, look at that. Woo! Don't need multiple score indicators, boy. Now we have, and then we'll affect the score based on what the score indicator was. So we will do that. And so technically we don't have to do it. Oh, let's look at the base enemy object. Let's look at the destroy. Set the score indicator. We've only got it to set the score indicator. I don't think we're actually changing the score by what is here. No. So each enemy does its own addition on the score. So let's go look at a simple one like this guy. Destroy event. So here's where we do a score plus 1. So this is not a good way to do it. Now we should be able to have that occur through the score indicator. We will rework that. So, oops. I'm going to add one more item here, which is filter all scores through the score indicator instead of attaching to each enemy. That would be a much cleaner way to handle it, and much less tedious in terms of upkeep. Okay, so first things first, I don't need that extra score indicator that I thought I was going to need initially. Delete. So we only have this one that we need, and it's working just fine. We'll change the amount for the base enemy back to what it was. Well, let's see here. Do I want to just go ahead and address this or not? I think I might as well finish this and just push everything through there. think I'll change the name of the script from indicator to helper. And it will not only be the helper to the object score indicator, but it'll just be the score helper in general. And this is not actually using argument 1 in any way, shape, or form, other than where I'm trying to call it here, but it's not like I was passed in a parameter for this thing, so I'm going to remove this so that I'm not confused later on when I look at it and I'm like, why isn't argument 1 being set when it's not coming through a parameter, and instead it's just being hard-coded. So, yeah, there we go. I think we cleaned that up. Now, the other piece that I wanted to do here was to say, so we'll say show the score, but we'll also say increment the score. And the increment will be based on the score text. Score equals score plus arg0.score text, and score text is a integer, so there should be no problem doing this math right here. I should just be able to go score plus equals as well. And so that should be in a good spot all around. Let's change this back to 1 by default for the base enemy, and then override where we think, I mean, I don't have anything to override right now except for one enemy in particular, and that would probably be overwritten in the weapon collision based on the katana connecting with the bubble eyeball. If only the katana connects with the bubble eyeball, then the player gets 2 points, and that's the only score change we have right now. It's going to go through drastic changes later, but setting this up in this way will be good. Also, let's see. I think we'll want to make sure that in most cases we're also checking to make sure the enemy isn't outside the room before we increment the score. So I think we're going to have to make sure we're taking that into consideration in the score helper. Because if the enemy leaves the room, we don't want to just add additional score to the player if the player didn't kill them. So I think what we can do is just mainly check a couple of things. If argument 0.x is, let's say, dot x plus arg0 dot sprite width. Can I do that? Yep. No, we need to do it a little bit differently. I think we need to get the sprite x offset. We need to do a little bit of math here. Sprite x offset. So I think we need to do the sprite width minus the sprite x offset. because it looks like your X offset is based on where your point of origin is, and they use the first part of the sprite. The second part of the sprite would be what we have to make sure is all the way off screen. So we need to know exactly where the X position is, plus the difference between the sprite width and the X offset. So let's say this is set to the sprite width is set to 90, and let's use this one for instance. The sprite width is set to 90, and the point of origin is at an X offset of 40. Then we need to know the extra 50 we need to add the extra 50 pixels to the current X position. So we take the difference between the sprite width and the X offset, and we can add that to the current X of the enemy. So we're already doing the adding. We need to know the sprite width minus the argument 0.sprite X offset. And let's group those together so that the math is done correctly. If X plus the difference there is greater than 0, then we can do this operation where we're adding, because we know that argument 0 is still on screen and has been destroyed while still on screen. So I think we should be able to do that with no problem. We also have to check the Y positioning to make sure it is not, let's look at the Y offset here. So it gets the top part, so you would have to go and do the difference for the bottom part. So let's look at that, get this compile window out of the way. Okay, and arg0.y plus arg0.sprite height minus arg0.sprite y offset. So the Y position plus the extra overlap is less than 0. We need to make sure this is less than 0. And then the last piece is going to be slightly different than that. So we're making sure it's not out of the screen to the left, the top, or the bottom. If it's out of the screen to the right and we destroy the enemy, that's fine, we've decided. But then we're here arg0.y plus, so the Y position will have the difference with the sprite offset. arg0.sprite y offset is greater than room height. So basically we're checking this. I'll talk through this one more time. If not outside the room. First check equals not outside room to left. Second check equals not outside room to top. And third check equals not outside room to bottom. There you go. So that should handle that, so we know we're not granting the user points if the enemy has left the room to the left, top, or bottom. So that should handle most everything there. Now let's go to...
Hey, Brad, I'm back. Just a heads up.
Sweet, dude. Let's go to the destroy event here. Let me look at this. Global.enemy 1 counter minus equals 1. Fine with all this. I no longer want to do this. I think for now I can get away with just commenting out everything and come back later and remove everything altogether. I think our score, our base enemy object has taken care of this now. Now this is the one we want to do something special with if it's connecting with the katana, but we won't do that here. We will change the score for that guy if but it won't be here. We'll do that in the weapon collision when it actually happens. Okay, tank 1. Destroy. Remove the score again. Good there. And these guys, the eyeballs on top of the tank, they have a score. These guys are inheriting from base enemy, just like everything else, so I think we're good to remove that. Okay, let's get these guys out of here. Base enemy, cool. Alright, so tank 1 and then boss 1, interestingly enough, has a +1 as well. Remove that because we've got it taken care of. I think we'll do one more thing on that score indicator. That we will make sure that we only do any of this if Skycurser is alive, because that's the way I've got everything else set up. I'm sure that was from some previous scripting that I had in place to make sure that we don't accidentally give Skycurser kills for running into an enemy and destroying the enemy, in case that were to happen. I don't think I have it set up so that Skycurser can run into an enemy and destroy the enemy. I know it can happen the other way around, but I just want to make sure that we're not unnecessarily granting the user extra points. Okay. So that should take care of all of level 1 enemies. Let's do level 2 really quick. Should be very quick. Don't even have a score indicator here. That's fine. Pabdire, are we doing the same thing for you? We don't even have a destroy event. Actually, let me see if I've got that occurring in the script here. Do I have a die 1? Yep, I do not have a score +1 here. Let's make sure the same thing of the Dire Peb, which I don't even have in the script folder. So Dire Peb should be good. Big Rig shouldn't even have it yet. Roach should not have it. Enemy 2 needs to be updated for sure. Let's do that real quick. I won't worry about that for now. We will modify that later. Okay, let's try this update. Cool. Chris, did you have anything immediately that you needed to cover?
Oh, I just jumped on. I saw the backgrounds like right as I was walking out the door.
Dude, they look really good, man. Nice job, dude.
Yeah, that makes me really excited. there's a couple of things that accomplish. One is they look better, I think, but then also everything's kind of lined up perfectly to segue without a seam into the bridge section. Like literally, it'll just be a matter of you stopping one layer from repeating and adding a new layer in its place, and it'll just happen seamlessly.
Sweet. Love it. Yeah, dude. And so the bridge layer, we'll talk about that in just a second. Let me just see how this goes with this update. I was just looking at the bridge layer in Drive and was just curious of a couple things.
Yeah.
Let's see if I broke anything here.
What are we working on right now? Just getting point indicators for all the enemies?
Yeah, dude, I got the score indicators in a really good spot. I am seeing one issue where the score is not going up at all right now. But, dude, score indicators are tight right now. I didn't have it set. It was kind of a hard-coded way of doing things previously. Now the score indicators wait until they receive a value before they actually start displaying. Before they actually display the number.
Okay.
And so when they receive the value, so now the value can literally be anything, which is very tight.
Awesome.
So it could be, 100 points or 25 points or whatever, and that's what it should increment everything by.
Yeah. Awesome.
Okay. If arg0.x is greater than 0 and arg0.y is greater than 0, that's part of the problem, and this needs to be less than 0, less than room height. Let's try that again. Play. Sounds good to Beasley. So this should fix that score problem. Just trying to... If this works, man, oh my gosh, it's going to be nuts. We could literally do all kinds of crazy stuff with scores now.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I've been listening to that British podcast a lot. The arcade guys that interviewed us,
Yeah.
I've been really listening to them a lot, but man, it's crazy. Like arcade guys, like I never played games for score, but a lot of those arcade guys, like, man, they really care about scores, like a lot. And
Yeah, dude. I know.
there it is.
There it is, yo. It's sick.
Awesome.
So are you wanting that heli orb or projectile to also be deflected?
Yeah, actually,
Okay.
there's some really specific notes in
Okay, cool.
about, remember the heli, we had only talked about this once, but I'm not totally convinced that this absolutely has to be this way, but that was the projectile that we had talked about, was actually a homing projectile, and then you deflect it once and it goes away, like...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be good. Yeah. That'd be a really good update. Let me add that in here. Yeah, give me one sec.
All in the scripting, like I have like some specific notes about like the animation that should happen when the heli dies.
Hey, Chris, give me 1 sec. I gotta hop off for 1 second. I'm just gonna take a 2 or 3 minute break. I'll be right back. Sorry.
No worries.
Give me 1 sec.
Would you mind? I just have my arms full of stuff I was trying to bring downstairs to the basement. Would you mind grabbing this pile of laundry right here?
Still trying to live the dream, man. Trying to make it happen.
Should we get a zucchini spaghetti pasta maker?
No. See how easy that was. So she just gotta say no. And I want to say no.
I'll listen to you now.
What? Last movie?
That's this. That's just
You go outside. You go outside, buddy. I think I'm gonna have to do the meal replacement shake playing for lunches for a while.
Why?
I feel like that's like the only way that like I can produce like this last bit.
Or just like do some push-ups and stuff.
You really think that's what it is?
I mean,
I've
normally
been
you
reading
just
a lot lately that they say basically like it doesn't. It's all about cutting your diet. It's not about the exercise. I mean, you exercise is obviously important, but if
then,
you're,
babe, you can't do lunch. Lunch is like your most important meal of the day. That will keep you from like binge eating later.
yeah. Well, maybe I'll do that for breakfast. I'm worried about like kind of getting demotivated if I don't start seeing it.
True. Dude, my foot still hurts.
What?
Like my ankle. Like it doesn't hurt as bad as it did, but it still hurts.
What's wrong?
If I remember correctly, I rolled something over my foot at work.
What was that?
I swear, I think it was like 6 weeks ago.
Okay, sorry about that, guys. I'm back. I also realized, Chris, that Skype was on too, so hope your conversations were good. I just realized that was still on my end, so sorry about that.
Broadcasting.
Okay, cool. The Heli Wolf projectile needs deflected. And cool. Okay, so I think we're in a good spot there in terms of what needed to be updated. Really good spot with score indicator. I would like to give me a sec. I would like to make an update for the impact collision with the bubble eyeball. Let's go like this. Yeah, this is the one. So we've got to check for the katana. We've got the ability for it to deflect right there. Still looking here.
What were you working on, Brad?
Just making sure everything filters through correctly for the
Point system.
yeah, for the point system. I'm trying to get it out of here and pass it over to where it should be. So I'm very close to having that. So give me a second here.
Would it distract you if I try to describe the way the bridge transition is going to work?
No, it wouldn't hurt. I may have a little bit of a hard time doing both at the same time, but
Okay.
you can go ahead and start if you want.
I just thought, so the idea there would be that the street, there's multiple layers, but the street would basically get replaced with a new street layer that lines up with it, and the first set of graphics kind of transition into the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like a stone column, like it's based on a real bridge. I did some reference, and then the stone column has like the support cables that go up into like a larger support beam, and then it starts to loop.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Graphics, yeah.
I saw a couple other things. Let's just hold on that for a sec, because let me just finish this thought process real quick. So give me just a minute here.
Yeah, no worries. No worries.
Okay, so what I'm looking at right here, just in case you're wondering what I'm trying to basically debug, is I'm looking at the script weapon score bonus, which is occurring inside a script weapon collision. This determines whether or not we should give the player an extra point for a particular thing happening, and we are basically passing into here a particular hit and a collision that occurs. We're checking to see if the collision is if its death by property is set to Skycurser Katana or Object Enemy 1 attack. In only specific enemies will return true here. So we're trying to determine if this enemy is impactable, if that's even a real word. But if it is impactable by a particular weapon, then we are returning true and then incrementing the score by an extra point here. And I'm still debating if this is the best way to do it or not. I feel like this should modify the score indicator of the hit by a certain value, and I think that value may be variable in the future depending on how we do this. But I think the best way to do this here is going to be to take the hit and make its property, which is the score text, equal to hit.score text plus 1. And score text, again, I may end up changing what this actually, the way this is worded, because text makes you think of a string. This isn't actually a string, it's actually a number. So, and score plus equals 1 would be taken care of because this is adding 1 to whatever the score text was. And whenever the enemy dies, we take the score text and grant that to the player. So I think we may have just addressed it right here correctly, the way we wanted to. And I think this is right. So I'm going to hit play on this. I'm going to take this over to level 1, and it's going to be hard to get a single hit in. I'm just going to leave it alone the way it is. I think this is correct. So to get a single hit in on a bubble eyeball is really difficult because they all come in a huge group of about 30 or 40, so it's hard to single one out. So I'm going to leave that alone, and I'm pretty sure I've got it here.
Is the internet running really slow for you?
No?
Maybe you're taking it all.
Maybe. So I think I'm in a good spot, Chris. Let's go look at those graphics, and I think I followed you pretty closely on how you were saying that they would go.
Yeah, and we don't have to, I mean, you know, we can work on anything, you know, you wanted to work on, but I was just thinking if you sound like you had some questions.
No, I did have some questions. Let's look at them real quick. Let's see.
You may have to make one slight modification for this whole thing to work the way I need it, and it's very, very small, but...
That's unacceptable.
Right now, layer 0 moves a little bit faster than layer 1. Layer 0 is the, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
area. We may have to make those two layers move at the exact same speed. And I'll explain to you why here in just a minute.
Just to make them transition correctly?
Yeah, well, if you go over to... So, bridge transition is where new graphics are.
Right.
I'm sorry, I'm behind on your stream. Okay, yeah, I just realized that your stream, it's delayed. So, show me something that you had, like, a question about specifically, I guess.
So this is obviously the close one. That's the far one. Is there a bar? Yeah, the bar connects them, I see. And so with the trees, are those going to be right beneath the bridge?
Yeah, basically, the trees are going to kind of serve a couple purposes. One is it's going to kind of show that the trees are actually the new close building layer, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So they get swapped out for the close buildings, and so it's kind of supposed to it's supposed to seem like you're going like through a park area.
Okay.
And then there's the water behind that.
Oh, hold on. Is the water in here? No, there's no water in.
The water's one folder back.
Okay, hold on. Okay, so the mid buildings then is also the transition, and this transitions as well for the far building. So let's go folder back and bridge section. Okay, so there's the front bridge, there's the back bridge. Apparently, I'm still missing the water. Here it is, dock water.
Yeah, and that's actually an animation. That's the reason why it's in its own folder.
Okay, so the water is going to be
just
behind the trees.
Yep.
Okay, and
you'll notice they all have numbers in front of them.
And so all the buildings are going to trail off, and it's just going to be that back there, and then the regular background sky, the sky that you just gave me to update.
Yeah, and they look really, really good together. It looks like you're going over like a large body of water.
Sweet. I can't believe it, man. That water looks amazing.
Yeah, one of the things on that water, just a heads up, it will be easier, I think, for you to do this than for me to do it. I could be wrong, but when those loop, they have to be reversed.
Okay, got it.
If that's going to be a big challenge for you, just let me know, and I can figure out. I can add it for you. But
I think I could probably get it.
okay.
So thruster dust, is that a real thing? At one point you talked about, where is that at?
It's I think it might be under maybe Hero Jet. Man, it's been a while. Oh, just do a search. There it is.
Well, Hero Jet,
I thought
thruster dust. Okay, this is good, because I've been looking all over for this. That'll be good, man. That'll be real good. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be one of those like.
So basically, I'll just have it kick in whenever he gets to the top part of the street, and then it'll just follow him as he goes across the street.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Okay.
That's gonna be badass.
I can't wait. It's gonna be good, man. All right.
Kind of big, so it'll look like, I don't know. It'll look like he's really kicking up a lot of noise.
Okay, okay. Everything else I think is fairly self-explanatory at the moment. I think I have clarity on all that then for now.
Sweet.
So, the good news is we just updated the score indicator, and that is completely flexible now to whatever score we want to pass in and or change for an enemy in real time if we need to. So we could potentially do crazy things like bonuses and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah. and
Like I don't even know, but we could do
once
something
we
like
start
that.
really coming down on the scoring system, like I know we're gonna end up wanting to have. We're gonna end up doing something like that. You know, I don't know exactly what it'll be, but we'll make it happen.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I think the next thing for me to do really, I think that guy's done. I think that's done. I think the next thing for me to do then is to update the backgrounds for level 1.
Which those aren't in draw.
Oh, okay. So are those done?
There's like I don't think I can have it ready like the next half.
What a joke. No, I'm just kidding. Question then. Have you seen the update for level 1 based on the fact that PEBs can now come out at different times? I think I might have to change the timings on level 1 now. I'll show it to you, and we can either decide to keep it or to modify it so that's a little bit cleaner. Remember how level 1 is like basically as clean as it gets in terms of when the streams of enemy 3s come out on screen?
Yeah. I'll have
So let me show you what this looks like now. It's a little bit the block is not there anymore, so they come out now as soon as you tell them to come out, which is really tight. But we may want that clean feeling on level 1 still.
I'm curious to see it. I'm watching. Oh, okay. Okay, wow. Yeah, wow. It's kind of interesting because it's faster,
Right,
which is kind of tight.
right.
But I do think, like, at some points that delay is kind of critical just to lose a second to catch up.
Right, especially on the first level.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to overwhelm the player on the first level. Like, this is insane.
I can't, yeah, I have to see it. You're still up above the clouds.
Right.
Oh my god.
So it's a simple fix. All we do is just make sure that we just rechange the timings for everything, which should not be that difficult. Might take a couple playthroughs just to get the timings right again, but
And I'm thinking the flies bullets should be only destructible.
oh, okay, yeah.
I'm just thinking out loud right now, but like I'm just noticing like how easy they are. Really. Like they don't really pose enough of a threat. I don't think.
Okay, yeah, tight. Well, when I see flies, I always swipe with the katana anyways, though, so That might be a little bit like deceiving.
I think there may need to be just a slightly longer gap on how fast you can speak.
Okay, yeah.
But I mean, that's
Yeah, exactly. I like how the febs are like extra like health for the boss.
yeah. Yeah, definitely. Exactly.
I mean, the intro to level 2, it's got a little bit of work to do. It needs to be even a little bit faster than it currently is, but it looks pretty good.
Oh yeah, no, I like it.
I also think that popcorn eyeballs on level 2 should be a little bit faster. Like, it would be awesome, I think, if the streams came out just a little bit faster.
Like their movement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyways,
I do like how, you know, the Peb attacks, the dire Peb attacks, you have to move, you know.
yeah, that's really good. Yeah, but you want them to be deflectable too, though.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So that's all I got right now. But what did you think about the Pebs? The whole point of that was to show you the Pebs for level 1.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like,
Space it out.
yeah. I mean, I think if they could be somewhere in between what we just saw and where they were before, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
where, then I think that would, because it is good how there's like no block. You just go right in.
Yeah, I love that. I guess I'm not switching back for some reason. There we go. All right. Okay, well, I'll make a note of that because I wasn't even sure if I should address that or not. I'll add that here. Pebs level 1 need spaced out close to back to close to what they were. Good enough. Okay, cool. This is good. Let me think here. Okay, I think I got some bugs to work out on the katanas, on the katana. And I've got a counter issue that I'd like to really work out on the dire Pebs. So the dire Pebs need to come out at the very end of the line instead of where they're coming out currently. So I think if we fix that bug, we'll be in a really good spot. So that's going to come in through the enemy controllers. Level 2 actually is on multi-level. And enemies multi-level. Enemy 3 generate. I think we've got a bad counter in here. Actually, I think we've got a bad counter in not in here. In here. So our counter, still wrong script. Can generate is the one that assigns it to an alarm. And I thought it was where we were incrementing our counters. And I think that's what this is right here. So I'm reviewing this piece in correlation with this piece. And by the way, Chris, I think meat mode might be broken right now. I'll have to go back and address that. I'm going to add that.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
I'll just say overall bug. It's not my highest priority right now. I mean, we can always remove meat mode anyway, like altogether.
I don't think, like, for Zesmi's build, like, I wouldn't even put meat mode in.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Because he's going to actually be... Well, yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't even put meat mode in it.
Alright. So here's where we are resetting everything back to 0.
It's just temporary, dude. Beastly bro. We're gonna have meat mode. I mean, I think meat mode will be actually one of the bigger long-term replay things in the game because it'll be different every time you play it. But we just have to prioritize getting the story mode done, like in a good spot for some upcoming stuff we've got.
Yeah, some upcoming deadlines that we have out there. So here's where the dire peb decides to get generated at. If I'm not mistaken, this gets generated too early because in this file we are starting the counter. I've got a couple of pieces off here, so if this is less than or equal to the current max count, then increment the counter. I could increment the counter here. Today's Monday, DeBeasley. Let's see. So if it doesn't equal 0 and modulus is equal to 0, that means we've hit our max count for this group. Starts at 0 every time. We generate our enemy right here in the enemy 3 path.
So you had no idea she had this great body? She never shares with the world the fact that you got the perfect hourglass figure.
I really like my hourglass. I think it looks beautiful. Yes. I'm starting to embrace it. I feel sexy.
She is a beautiful young woman. And all I could think was why on earth.
Alarm counter. Man.
I have something that I think will make you absolutely love this dress. Hold on, let me show you. So, just trying to think through this in case anybody's
trying to follow. I've got my current max count set to my current group max, which is determined by whatever story point helper I'm on. So I know based on the story point helper whether I need to send 8 PEBs out or 24 PEBs or 16 or 12, however many. And so that's determined right here based on story point, whether or not story point has been set to true or not yet. Once we have it, then we then determine which one of these 4 alarms we want to use based on whichever one's available and whichever one is tied to the current story point. All the code is the same in each one of these, except for the call to the alarm 2. And I've got some hard-coded, basically, counters for the enemy generator object. So they're attached to the enemy generator object. I'm setting the current max count to the current group max based on the story point helper. And then I'm also looking at the alarm 2. So for instance, for the alarm 2, I've got alarms 2, 4, 5, and 6 because those are the ones reserved for enemy 3s. So I'm looking at the current counter, which should be 0 at the very beginning, and making sure that that is less than or equal to the current max count. And so it should be going, technically, if my current max count is set to 8, it should be going 0 through 8, which would be 9 total. But we're also doing a check over here in the generate, this big conditional right here along this line. Let's see if I can expand it. That checks all of the alarms and determines if we have anything that should be reset. So I've got an AND here. So I'm checking the story point. Is the current story point set to true or false? In other words, has it been completed or not? And then I'm looking at alarm 2's counter and everything associated to alarm 2. And then I'm also looking at alarm 4's counter and everything associated to alarm 4, 5, and 6 as well. So if I have a true on any of those, I jump into here and determine which counter I'm currently using, which is what argument 8 is, and then I reset everything. This is basically, oh, okay, we've completed all of the calls to all the enemies that we need here. So go ahead and reset everything to 0, and everything is allowed to be basically consumed again. So I'm trying to determine, I think I've got something in here that is preventing my counter from being correct, so that my dire PEB, which is really the main thing that I'm trying to fix right here, shows up not on the second to last, but on the very last PEB in the stream. Right now he's showing up on the second to last PEB in the stream, which is very surprising considering I've got this, check-in right here where I'm making sure the current counter is equal to the current max count on all of these, and it looks like all of them are correct. So I think the issue has to do with this and this conditional over here, the way this conditional is written, and the way this is incrementing right here. So if it starts as 0 and hits 1 the very first time before an enemy is technically even generated, let's do show debug message here. This should basically be 1 on the very first time through. Current counter. And go ahead and hit play and watch. Our goal here is to watch the compile window and see what the counter says. We'll probably have to wait until some PEBs get generated.
How do you launch right into mission 2, Brad? Is that just like a real quick tweak you have to make?
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so we should have now. I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which is correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So when it gets picked up again, you know, this is alarm 2, this is alarm 2, this is alarm 2. Yeah, that's right, Chris. Why were you wondering?
Oh, I'm just curious, like how you had it set up to where you can jump right in.
Yeah, so if you're watching the stream here, I jumped out of the game and my switcher is not switching automatically. Let's try again. Okay. So if you're watching where I'm going here on my Game Maker window, I have a helper that's basically a press start helper. Sorry, it's a room control. It's a script, and I just changed it from room level 1 to room level 2 here. This is the controller basically that decides what happens when you push start. So for now, all I do is push it to level 2, and it's kind of a manual switch right now. I don't have a menu option just to jump it.
So I was just curious because I didn't see it. I just thought I was curious how you did it.
So the counter looked correct to me. It started at 1, went through 8. That was good. But we also weren't on level 2 where we were able to look at what's actually occurring. So let's go to level 2 and let these PEBs get generated on level 2.
Too much stress for me on the bottom. I think you have to try on the other options you guys really call out and do that. So,
Wow, she'll make the most conservative dress of all years.
you know, it definitely pushed me out of my comfort zone, but it's great. What is your hesitation about the curl dress? Too much exposure.
And the strap is mermaid is another showstopper.
Yes. It is a spotlight, but is that going to be any great for you?
It's a really tough decision. They both look incredible on her.
This is really going to tell us what we still aren't sure of, which is how Diva
I'm just letting these generate for a minute here. It's kind of hard to dodge now. All right. Look at the debug messages here. So 1 through 16, which seems right off the top of my head. 16. Yep, 8 and 8. That's fine. So the very first time through, it's hitting 1. And I think the simple fix here is to try this. I'm not sure that this is the best way to handle this, but see if that fixes it. What do I talk about? I want the chat active. Tell us if you tell us what your favorite stream on Twitch is right now. Besides this one, of course. Ooh, he doesn't even get generated. Interesting. Dire Pep doesn't even get generated if I do that. Let's try that one more time. Or besides your favorite stream, have you seen that? Basically, it's a big preview for a new show coming out on USA called Who is Mr. Robot? That looks pretty sweet.
Then how did
All states say driving bonus check.
this so weird, right? My agent Tom said
Only all states send you a bonus check for every 6 months you're accident free.
So let's try taking that off then. I mean, theoretically, if it didn't ever get generated, the Dire Pep should be in the correct position, but I still don't think it is. So let's look at this one more time.
Do you think it has something to do with zero, like with it being like, I don't even know where I'm going with that, like with the PEB, like a zero PEB versus like the one. Like a
Well, no, that's a normal thing to do in programming, having a zero index for counting something, and then you would just stop it at 7. You know, like if you wanted 8, you would go 0 through 7, which would be 8 total. Does that make sense?
Right, yeah, definitely.
Let me just, okay, so let's just watch this for a second. I think, yeah, it has something to do with my, it's a counter is off. See, there it is again. Interesting. I've got a counter off. I don't think the zero index is the piece of it. I think the piece that's wrong is definitely related to the counter, like firing in a way that it's not ready for the. I don't know exactly, but I don't think it's the zero index. That's a good idea to get me thinking about that, but I don't think it's that.
Another thing I was just thinking just now is that I bet you talked about the PEBs being a little faster. I bet the FEBs could be a little faster in Mission 2 too.
Yeah, I agree.
Basically like meat shields, you know, like they.
Right. I had some ideas for the FEBs too, which was if we do it right, we could make the we could make the helixes a little bit tighter, and you could basically let them let the FEBs go right through the middle of the helix stream. That would be tight, like a tunnel.
Yeah, that would be.
You know, so you would partially change the depths of the PEBs as they're flying across the screen. When they hit certain points, you would change the depths of the. You know what I'm saying? That'd be good. Okay, so I think maybe the only way to solve this is going to be to do the counter on the other side. Let me try this for a minute. Take this down. I'm gonna take these down all to less than instead of less than or equal to.
I don't know. What do you see when you look in the mirror? I see a beautiful bride. It feels great to feel and look this sexy. It just feels like confidence come to life. I'm enjoying it, friend. Look this sexy. It just feels.
I think then the way to fix this is to say current counter plus 1. So 0 through 7, and then this would be 8 total. Modulus max count 8 modulus 8 would equal to 0. So I'm gonna try this.
Caleb, what'd you done if I walked down the aisle and that was my dress?
Well, yeah.
Like confidence come to life. I'm enjoying the mirror. Oh,
When we met, Georgette wanted nothing to do with sexy. But this is a
Ooh, I see a bug.
transformation. This is about her literally, for the first time, peeling away the layers and showing her true beauty.
Now, this dress is designed by Berta, and the signature in this collection is that these are
Saw a bug. That's not good.
made you pick this one.
I think there's just something very romantic and also sexy. I like the feel of this. I'm glad I trusted you guys. Without your help, I wouldn't be in this, so thank you. The diva has
Okay, so I modified the wrong thing. I'm trying to make sure I'm modifying the exact right thing. Got to stay completely focused on this because this is a crazy conditional. Okay, +1 is there. +1. This should be 5. This should be +1. Okay, let's try that. See what happens. Let's also look at how many should get generated generally through group max. So 16, 12, 16. So our first set should be 16 easily. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And, oh, 2 dire pebs. That was funny. So it doesn't get reset fast enough. DeBeasley's asking you a question, Chris.
Well, for me, I've always felt like sprite art is kind of like, for video games, it's probably the most timeless type of pixel art. Is probably the most timeless in terms of, like, you know, you can still look at Street Fighter, you know, Third Strike or Street Fighter 2, and those games still look amazing, you know, or and even older than that, like, you know, Ghosts and Goblins, it still looks awesome. But so I've always wanted to do sprite art as opposed to like 3D art, just because I feel like with the 3D art game, you know, the moment the game comes out, it's already starting to age, and, like, you know, it's only a matter of time till someone has a better shader or whatever, you know. And so I've always had a fascination with pixel art because of that. And then also the thing I like about pixel art is that you can control absolutely everything the user sees, you know, like with a lot of 3D graphics and stuff, it's all, but some of that comes down to the computer, you know, the way that it's choosing to shade things, and you have to make compromises for, you know, speed and things like that. Whereas with pixel art, you can everything that the player sees is something that you've drawn by hand. So I don't know, that you know, I just think that, you know, that style of game is just, this is my favorite style of game in terms of graphics. So I've always wanted to do it. It's really time consuming. I will say that it takes an insane amount of time. Like, these backgrounds have just been brutal because, you know, they're basically giant pixel art drawings, and it just takes a lot of time.
What gives you the patience to sit through there, Chris, on something like that? Like, what is it that what is it like that? Is it, do you like got your eye on the prize or something, or what?
I think that's what it is, man. I mean, it's the feeling of getting done. You know, like, a lot of times, especially with these backgrounds, like, man, it looks like, oh my gosh, this is never going to be done. But then all of a sudden, like, everything comes together. And it's just that feeling of just being like, now we're one step closer to the game being done. Because the backgrounds, you know, you get the mission backgrounds done, and that's a huge step forward in the overall work that needs to be done to get the mission done, you know, in terms of the art. So I think it's just like, yeah, like just having, you know, having kind of like the, like you said, like eye on the prize or whatever. That's funny. Now there are two guys up.
I know, what the heck, man. Hold on. That is so odd, man. I'm scratching my head here why that would have caused it to go 2 up. Let me try doing the opposite here. Look at this one more time. So what's the BHAG, the big hairy audacious goal that you want with this game, Chris? The one that you're scared to say on stream.
For me is to be able to. I was telling Danielle the other day, she's like, what do you really want to happen? And I was like, I really want Skycurser and the hardware we're making and the whole process of like just biting the bullet, making it arcade. I want that to be the first step in a resurgence of arcade games. Like I think if we get this platform thing together and we get the hardware working the way that I know we can, and we have all the front end pieces in place, and like potentially even some kind of partnership even with Yo-Yo Games or something. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here.
Yeah.
You know, and it's that easy for guys who want to make new arcades to just be able to publish right to our platform. Like I feel like that could be pretty. I think it's a super ambitious goal, but I think it's definitely doable.
Yeah.
Because, like, for example, Beasley, I can't remember where you said you lived. My apologies, but, you know, here in Indianapolis, there's a new arcade opening up. I mean, there's tons of arcades and arcades in Chicago now, which is real close to us. And I mean, there just seems to be a lot of arcades just opening up all around the country in the U.S. So it's like, I know there's like kind of a desire. Arcades are coming back in a way. And I feel like if we can kind of get on and have this new way for people to be able to develop arcade games, I think it could be pretty awesome.
I don't remember actually.
I'm gonna want to make another game. I know as soon as this. I've already got so many ideas, dude.
Good, man. I love it.
So many ideas. Okay, so I went to me and my friend Adam that you met. We went to Dave Buster's the other night.
Yeah.
Check out that Star Wars Battle Pod. Have you heard about this?
No.
So there's a new arcade game, a new Star Wars arcade game, and it's pretty amazing. Like you have to actually go in, you have to actually step inside it. Like you walk inside of this like big dome, and you're sitting in a cockpit, and like there's a dome screen like just a foot in front of you, and it like wraps around your whole head, and like so like imagine like
dang.
A dome screen that wraps all around you, and the game projects onto that screen.
Whoa.
So you've got like
that's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Right, yeah. And so it's kind of interesting. It's the action is so fast and it's filling your entire peripheral, you know.
Right.
But it's tight, and it was really tight. And then there's a new Jurassic Park game but a lot of the newer games that are coming out are coming from a company called Raw Thrills, which is in Chicago. They made the new Jurassic Park, they made the new Terminator game, but I thought that was really interesting because, like, yeah, they're just right in Chicago. But I was thinking, you know, like, thinking of all these different ideas. Like, if we ever wanted to make like a deluxe, like a super deluxe Skycurser cabinet, one of the ideas I had, this would require some like pretty significant programming stuff. So, you know, it's just an idea. But have you ever heard of the ultra wide screen monitors, Brad?
No, I don't think I have.
You get like for PC, like it's like one monitor, but it's basically as wide as like two monitors.
No, I don't think I've seen one of those yet.